Okay, you're on.
We're on?
Yeah.
All right, good. Live from Willowdale. We haven't done one of these in a couple of weeks, and we're going to make this quick because I know nobody wants to listen to a half an hour of me rambling. But we felt after the election, the federal election on Monday, we needed to do a quick little video. Sorry, my hair is wet, but it is pouring out there. I took the Willowdale Avenue bus from the Shepherd's subway. Just walking across the street, I got soaked. I don't think this is the remnants of Hurricane Patricia, but it certainly seems like it. Although I know it's hitting Texas right now, it certainly seems we're in some sort of tropical depression. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. The election, a great result in the sense that Stephen Harper and his government are gone. We'll see what Justin Trudeau can do with it. I used to call him Justin Bieber Trudeau, but he definitely did grow during the election campaign. I got to give him credit. He did well in those debates. So, yeah, no longer Justin Bieber, now our prime minister. We'll see what he does with it. He seems to have started off well this week. You know, I like the fact that he greeted commuters at the Montreal Metro stop on Tuesday morning. Telling Obama that we're going to pull out of the military mission against ISIS, I thought that was good, and I'll go back to that in a second. But he's had some good. He's started off well. We'll see where it goes. He's got the progressive vote, right? The NDP vote collapsed. It went to him. He's got the progressive vote. Let's see what he does with it. Do I expect the Just Society, the society that his father talked about? No, not really. I expect a less mean place. I expect a more progressive government, one that doesn't go after women wearing the niqab or worrying about terrorists under every bed. One that doesn't, as Trudeau said in one of his election speeches or one of his campaign speeches, people that don't fear. You don't fear Canadians internally. You don't fear them externally. So. We'll see where he goes with that. He definitely got the vote on Monday for a change. And I think a lot of Canadians want money spent on the economy. They don't mind deficits. Poll numbers show they don't mind going to deficit for major infrastructure projects that actually matter. So that's transit, that's water main work, that's bridges. Canadians don't mind if the money's spent properly. So we'll see where he goes with it. The Star had a headline on Tuesday about a new Canada. I think we have the same old Canada. It's not Back to the Future. We have the same Canada, a tolerant, open-minded place. And almost 10 years of Harper's government didn't destroy the progressive values of most Canadians. So I know Harper bragged about changing Canada. He didn't. It didn't. And the results speak for themselves. In terms of past the post, it worked. Obviously, Canadians wanted change, and they got change. In Alberta last spring, they wanted change, and they got change. So past, it's not a perfect system by any means, but it worked. When Canadians, whether it's provincially or federally, want change or municipally, they get the change through the system. But yeah, certainly in provincial and federal politics, the first past the post system I do think works, and it has its imperfections, but I do think that it works, and we saw that on Monday night, and we saw it in Alberta, certainly in spring. So yeah, going back to and as I said, just to wrap up on Justin Trudeau, we're not going to get the Just Society that his dad promised and didn't deliver. But let's hope for a more progressive society, more progressive policies. Canada's always been a progressive society. Let's just hope for more progressive policies. On the international stage, Trudeau telling Obama that we're going to pull out of the military mission against ISIS. The Americans don't care. Canada's contribution is infinitesimal. It's so small, a couple of jets, it's not a big deal. And Obama's more than happy to have Trudeau alongside it, talking about climate change and other issues. Let's face it, the Obama administration's thrilled that Stephen Harper is gone. They couldn't stand him. And they're more than happy to see him gone. I don't think they intervened in this election like in the one where they basically brought Lester Pearson to power in 1963, when they definitely made it known that they hated Diefenbaker, because Diefenbaker, went against putting nuclear weapons in Canada, or the Whitlam government in Australia, which, famous example where the Americans intervened to overthrow an Australian election. No, they didn't intervene here. They had a sense that Stephen Harper's on his way out the door, so they didn't say anything, and it happened, and they're very happy, and they don't care about Canada's military contribution to ISIS, and they want to work with Canada on all sorts of other issues, including climate change. So the Obama administration is very happy that Justin Trudeau is in power. In terms of ISIS, our role is infinitesimal, and this is going from the federal. Just to make a point about the NDP, Mulcair was a great debater in Parliament and a smart guy, but he just didn't come across as, that's the thing when you're going against a younger person, obviously someone with the Trudeau name, but a younger person who actually did well in the campaign, and Mulcair looked old. He did look like, as I said in previous videos and letters to the editor, he looked like he could have been at the 1864 Charlottetown Conference. I mean, he looked like Charles Tupper. So he didn't really connect with Canadians, despite the fact that he's intelligent and he's articulate, but he didn't connect. And is moving to the right, going about, we have to have balanced budgets, which, Horwath did in Ontario last year. It didn't work. Canadians want progressive policies. They want stimulus spending. They want Keynesian economics. They want money spent on infrastructure, which is so sorely needed, and it certainly can be helpful in a struggling economy. And once again, the NDP's move to the right cost them dearly. It cost them in Ontario last year, and now it's cost them nationally. And all the soul searching, if someone's, just stick to your gut. The NDP should just stick to their guns. Be a progressive party. Stop trying to be a conservative party. Anyways, moving on, and of course, moving on, because I wanted to also say, some good people did not get elected, and I realized again that politics is a cruel game, and so much. And when you run for office, you put a lot of effort into it. 12, 13-hour days for 2 months on. You have a lot of volunteers. You have a lot of people to manage. It's a gruel, and if you don't get elected, it's disheartening. So, we're cynical. I'm cynical. Everyone's cynical of politicians and politics. But it's people who put their name out there and run for office, it's a lot of work. And I was just thinking of like Linda McQuaig, who Cleve and I did some work for. Great person who did not get elected. A great person who did not get elected. Here's someone who should have been a member of Parliament. She's written many, many books on the economy. Many bestsellers, a smart person, former journalist at the Globe Mail, former columnist at the Toronto Star, a very smart person. She didn't get elected. She should have been elected. She would have been a great member of Parliament. And but she put a lot of work into it. This is her second try. And I just realized again that some good people did not get elected. And that's really too bad. But it goes to show you, some good people put their names forth and they put a lot of work into it. So I'm a very cynical person, but it made me realize again that, there's some very good people out there who did not get elected. And Linda McQuaig is one of them. And I hope she keeps trying. She's very good at politics, and I hope she keeps trying. And I hope she keeps writing books. Now, there are some people that I was happy to see not elected. I was happy to see Olivia Chow not elected. There's a woman who thought she could just waltz back into Parliament, into this cushy MP's job, high salary, just because she's Jack Layton's widow, just because she's Olivia Chow. She's never had anything to offer. She didn't have anything to offer municipally. She didn't do well in the mayoralty race, and she just thought, okay, I don't like my job at Ryerson, so I'll just waltz back into Parliament and have a nice salary, and because I deserve it, because I have a powdered wig and it's my sinecure. Well, it didn't work, Olivia. And I think so many people have come up to me and said, I'm happy that Olivia Chow did not win. So on that note, I'm moving over to Hillary Clinton's testimony, going about Canada's infinitesimal role in the world. I watched Hillary Clinton's testimony the other day before Congress, before the Select Committee on Benghazi, this Republican sort of witch hunt against her. And she was, I have to admit, this is someone, talking about I was thinking of Linda McQuaig when I was watching her. You know, people who should be in office, people who know their files, who are smart, who think, who write, and yeah, Hillary Clinton is on top of the files. Okay, whatever you think of the Clintons, and I know they're a bit sleazy and all that, but boy, they know their issues and they are on top of their files. They're not stupid. And she was swatting away these Republicans. Most of them are idiots, and most of them, Libya. Most of them couldn't even find Libya on a map of North Africa. They're so stupid. You know, as I've said in previous videos, half of them think the Flintstones are a National Geographic documentary. She was just swatting them away like flies because they're so stupid. But it's interesting when she was talking. You learned a lot of these testimonies about the U.S. security policy, U.S. defense and foreign policy. She was saying, they were saying it's Hillary's war in Libya. Libya's collapse, as everyone knows. It's Hillary's war. It wears on you. It's you wear it. And she was talking about, well, no, this was a NATO mission. A lot of European allies, a lot of Arab allies involved. And actually, the Americans did take a back seat to it. Obviously, they did take a back seat. Obviously, they were crucial, but they did take a back seat. And obviously, one of the lead actors in Libya was Canada. And we should be ashamed of that because Libya is now a disaster area. And we should have evaluated what we were doing. But of course, Harper was so keen to, use military force and get rid of Gaddafi. It's an ideological position. But she didn't even mention Canada in her testimony. She was talking about all the European allies, the Arab allies. Actually, it was Canadian who led the military mission, and she didn't even mention us. So we're irrelevant, and nobody cares what we do. So the symbolic mission against ISIS in Iraq that's why the Americans don't care, because it is symbolic. So. And we did a lead role in Libya where nobody even noticed it, and the Americans really didn't notice it. So, and that's what I sort of gleaned from Hillary's testimony. The pulling out of the mission against ISIS, that wasn't a big deal, and the Obama people don't care. Canada could do a lot more, as I mentioned in previous videos, about trying to organize a political settlement in the region. Maybe that's what Trudeau should be doing, trying to marshal the forces to do something politically. I'm glad that Russians are in Syria. I'm glad that Putin is supporting Assad. We should have never let this situation deteriorate the way it did. And I wish the Russians had come to Assad's aid much earlier. Anyways, Canada, if Trudeau wants to do something forceful on the world stage, he should try to organize a political settlement to the situation in Syria and Iraq, and because that's the only way we're going to get out of this, and he could take a lead role in that. And Canada, obviously, by taking in more refugees, and we could actually do some serious stuff without a military role. So, and I think the Americans would probably like us to do that. So, going on. Now we're going to end this video because now we're going on a few minutes longer than I wanted to, but. You can watching how Canada's so relevant. Even the election of Trudeau obviously made the American media, but not much. It was barely noticed on CNN. Canada is so irrelevant. The Americans are so insular. And I was watching the baseball thing, and I remember last week, a little week ago Friday, when the first game against Kansas City. They had some nobody sing the Canada national anthem, and they had a well-known saxophonist do the U.S. anthem, which is very nice. But they had a huge American flag on the stadium, on the field, a huge American flag. Everyone was supposed to put their hands on their heart and all that. And then they had a stealth bomber fly low over the stadium. Come on, that is so over the top. It's almost like singling Canadians. Don't even dare win this series because it was so over the top, and I just thought, what a weird country this is, And then so last night when the Jays lost, it was a great game, and I'm glad it's over. The hype gets to you after a while, and I'm glad it's over. The Jays, they had a good run, and as I said as everyone's commented, the success of the Blue Jays has done more for for the Toronto economy than anything that the Olympics or the Pan Am Games could have ever have done. But I'm glad it's over because the hype gets to you. And let's face it, sports is an opiate, and like religion, it's an opiate. And yeah, you can't get totally caught up in it. And so I'm glad it's over. And the Jays did well, and they gave everyone a good. It was a good run, and everyone had a good time. And yeah, now it's over. But last night, as soon as that final out was thrown, and Kansas City won, it was like the Jays didn't exist anymore. It's like they were all talking about the Mets and the Royals, and the Blue Jays didn't even exist. Canada didn't exist. Nothing existed. It's all about the Mets and the Royals. And sure, everyone in Major League Baseball is happy because it's now 2 American teams, and they don't have to worry about Canada and having another anthem and all that. And I just thought that was so noticeable because it was Fox broadcasting last night, and as they'd done all these playoff games. And yeah, as soon as that final out was recorded and the Blue Jays were no longer in it, they didn't exist. Canada didn't exist. The Blue Jays didn't exist. It's like it doesn't exist. Canada, it's so, what an insular society. Oh, the United States is forget even about Canada, the world, but Canada is their neighbor. But yeah, we just frankly don't exist in their consciousness. So and I just thought that was an interesting. I just noticed that, and yeah, nothing beats that stealth bomber flying over Royals Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City.
You're right to notice it.
Oh my God, that was so. Yeah, well, I pointed out to you. I said, Did you see that stealth bomber fly over?
Yeah.
It was almost like, yeah, I mean, that is so incredible. Like, anyways, I'm not going to ramble on about sports or, yeah. We could go on and on. That was it, the 2 topics we wanted to talk about. And we'll see what happens with Trudeau. He's got the progressive vote. See what he does with it. And there's probably more to talk about, but we've gone on, and I didn't really want to ramble on.
I like his dancing.
All right, I think we're done here, Clinton. Clinton?
Yes, I am.
Hillary's on my mind for some reason. That testimony,
that
testimony was so interesting, and we'll see where her poll numbers go. But boy, yeah, those Republicans seem to have it out for her. But in the end, I don't think it's going to work. She's too intelligent. I do think Obama has left her out to dry, though. I can't believe Obama didn't come out and speak in defense, because it wasn't Hillary's war in Libya. It was his. It was the
Obama. Wouldn't he face some criticism for kind of?
It was Obama administration policy. It was Obama administration policy to join the war and to join that attack on Libya and get rid of Gaddafi. I don't know why they're letting her. It's
right.
They're sort of leaving her out to what's that? Leaving her out to dry, right?
Yeah. That's the expression.
Yeah. So, anyways, I've rambled. Let's cut this off.
Okay.